Whatever comments that are generated here will end up on the minister's desk, I guess, on Monday. So it's very appropriate timing to get this thing, give you some feedback and we get some consensus as to where we would like to see the budget process go. I think the way we're doing, this is all happening across Canada, 200 sessions, 200 different inputs, and it could be very, very interesting. I think this session will run quite simply. Guy will make a few comments, and then we'll start some questions and answers. And this session is mainly for Guy to take information back to Ottawa. And we have a good session, and I'm the moderator, and I've never been known to be particularly moderate. So keep the questions concise, and we'll get as much information as we can. So with that, I'll turn it over to our guest.
Well, thank you very much, Doug. And first of all, I want to begin by thanking the Chamber for organizing this. We've been, as Doug said, we were doing consultations across the riding. We completed one about 10 days ago in South Glengarry. It was very productive. We had another one last week in North Dundas, which again was very well attended, very, very productive. And so I've got a lot of good suggestions to bring to the Minister of Finance, and hopefully we'll get some this morning. To my left here is Eric Duncan. Eric is my assistant, my executive assistant, and Eric will be taking notes. So if you swear, it's going to be recorded, all that kind of thing. But the plan is to take this information and to give it, like Doug said, to the Finance Minister. I have to compile all my findings and bring them to the Finance Minister on Monday, the 31st of January. And just in case you think that, this process doesn't work, Eric reminded me yesterday, actually, of a case where with our stimulus funding, some of the members of council, various councils, I think it was Jim McDonnell, yourself, and Glenn Grant, who mentioned, that stimulus funding is great. The problem is some of the municipalities, especially smaller municipalities, do not have the resources to be able to lever that kind of money, those projects. And so we brought that back to the Finance Minister, and lo and behold, now there's a program in place for municipalities to get low-cost financing to be able to go ahead with their project. The same with the gas tax funding. One of the municipalities were always complaining, well, we never know if we're going to get it next year. Well, because of that feedback, now that gas tax funding is, the rebate is put in place and it's there for a 10-year period. So these things do count. I thought it would be helpful to give you the context and a bit of a context of where we've been and what the lay of the land is going forward, at least from our government's perspective. Where we've been, as you know, we took over government in 2006, and the first thing we did at that time was to start to pay down the debt. In the first 30 months of our mandate, we managed to pay down the $560 billion debt, $40 billion. That sort of put us in better shape when the recession came along. And so we also, during that period, you'll recall, one of our first budgets, we had kept a campaign promise that said we were going to lower the GST from 7 to 6 to 5%. The other thing we did was introduce the tax-free savings account. That is very popular. Income splitting for pensioners. Where we're going with this is, we feel if we put more money into the pockets of the consumer, of the taxpayer, if we can return more money in the pockets to you and to the small business, to the job creators, there's only two things you can do with it. You can either invest it, which creates wealth, or you can spend it, which again creates wealth. So it's important, we feel, that we put as much disposable income into your pockets. Then when the global recession hit, that was a real challenge. I mean, nobody saw that coming. That was something that happened worldwide. I guess it originated in Wall Street. However, what we thought the solution was to our economic action plan. And the way we thought we could help preserve and create jobs was to invest in infrastructure. So we invested in roads, bridges, public transit, and other infrastructure, as you know. And I don't think there's a better example than the one just across the road here in the sportsplex. Because of the Economic Action Plan, the City of Cornwall was able to invest $9 million, lever the other two levels of government for equivalent amount, and ended up with a sportsplex that I believe is going to be opening in March. The other thing we did on a personal level is a home renovation tax credit. I don't know how many of you in the room took advantage of that. I know I did. That was the biggest seller that you can imagine. That was one of the best things that we were able to do, was a home renovation tax credit. Now, where are we now? We are in recovery. We are recovering, and the recovery is fragile, but we are recovering. Now, I don't think that, having said that, one of the things that we need to do is keep Canadians working. And some of you small business people, you're the job creators. So in the past with infrastructure and stimulus spending, we were able to create jobs. But now we're saying to the job creators, small businesses particularly, how can we help you to create more jobs? We managed to get back all the jobs that we've lost during the recession. And since July 2009, believe it or not, there had been 460,000 net new jobs created. Net new jobs. That means along with the jobs that were lost, we've increased the employment by 460,000. For the first time ever in history, where our unemployment rate is lower than the Americans. Actually, it's 2 points lower as we